it's Mxiety, your mental health advocate and talk show host, here for another episode of Safe Point. Safe Point is our discussion episode, is our interview episode, where we focus on learning from leading advocates in the Twitch space. Also, we talk to mental health professionals sometimes. It's just an overall great time. Sponsored by BetterHelp. Thank you so much for being here, everybody, for taking the time. The channel in general focuses on mental health awareness and making sure that mental health information is out there, and that's how we break the stigma. But also we talk about like everything, and there are no boundaries in terms of like, dear Lord, if you don't talk about mental health for 5 minutes, things will break. Nothing's breaking. It's awesome. Everything's awesome. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Wonderful. Okay. So the guest we have on tonight, the wonderful Ashlina, has been I think we figured out like 3 years in the making, meaning she contacted me and I was like, hey, I'm busy and I don't have room in the schedule. And then I have I kid you not, I have a Trello list of people that is a ton of people long that I that I go through, and I'm like, wait, I haven't had this guest on, this guy. Yeah. Anyway, so long story short, and then you started a mental health talk show, and I was like, we got to move this up. Yes. We got to move this up. So here we are. So tell us all about yourself, all the things.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. Like we kind of discussed, this has been a long time in the running, essentially. And yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, my name is Ashlina. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. You name it, I stream it. I'm not even joking. We do everything on my channel, from SFX makeup to cooking and baking to painting, drawing, video games, everything. Some of the main types of games that I like to focus on are like story, RPG, adventure driven, but I don't mind a good horror game. Or an FPS game. Also, like M said, I do have a talk show. I even consider it like a podcast where it's called Motivational, and it is a podcast where we just talk about an array of things, from like, I've had a cancer survivor come on, I've had a full-time streamer come on, just things like that. And it's basically, how can we motivate you in some way, shape, or form throughout your life. So I do that. I like Halloween. If you can see behind me, horror movies are my favorite thing. It is Halloween 24/7, 365 in my life. And yeah, I really pride myself on building an inclusive community. We talk about mental health. We talk about chronic illnesses. We talk about LGBTQ, plus advocacy, people of color advocacy, awareness, all of those things. So yeah, I call my community the Cozy Chaos. I want you to get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever you prefer and come hang out with us and get a little bit chaotic at the same time. So was that good? Was that like a good?
That is beautiful. Are you kidding me? So peeps are saying you're a little quiet, and I have maxed you out on my end. So if you, either bring your mic a little bit closer. Okay. Yeah. And can we have
now?
How about now? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
This is a new mic, so it might need some adjusting. Hold on, let me see. Of course. Yeah, I'm up all the way.
Okay.
How do I sound?
You're up. Okay, I think you're a little bit louder now. I would say up. This is as loud as we can make Ashlina, and she's very loud in my headphones. So we might need to turn. You might need to turn up. That's okay. No worries. I'm sorry. And
it's up all the way on my end. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this is please. Oh, better. Okay. All right. Okay. At least this.
Okay.
Whew. Okay. All right.
Tech issues.
We check that off. If you were playing bingo tonight,
absolutely.
All set.
It has to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's not a real stream.
Yeah, there you go. So all set.
Yeah, it's not real.
Yeah, I will make myself quieter. That's no problem. Okay, thank you everybody who's here. Yes. Thank you for bearing with the sound issues. Appreciate it. Okay, so if you are looking for Ash's podcast, Is that okay? I just
Yeah.
shortened it. Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
okay, but then I was like,
Yeah.
wait, I never
Yeah.
officially asked you. Okay, if you're looking for Ashlina's podcast, go to her Twitter. There's a link tree that links out to everything, and the Twitter link is there. So we're not ignoring it. I promise. I was just trying to focus on like the main links. Yes. But okay, so you mentioned that you have a chronic illness, and that
Yes.
kind of, you talk about that on stream, and that
Yes.
kind of motivates a lot of your discussion around mental health, because
Yes.
chronic illnesses do that.
Yes.
But let's talk. So if you don't mind disclosing,
Oh, absolutely.
let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't mind talking about it. So for those who are unfamiliar, like a chronic illness is like a lifelong illness, essentially. It's something that there is no cure for it. It doesn't go away, that kind of thing, essentially. So the chronic illness that I have, it is called Hashimoto's disease. And I guess if that's okay with you, I'll go into it like just okay.
Yeah, hold on. Content warning. If long term, if you know this is triggering for you, we're about to go into detail for that.
Absolutely.
So, all right,
absolutely.
dive in.
So essentially, it is an autoimmune disorder, which means my immune system is the main attacker. So your thyroid, it is in charge of your hair, your skin, your nails, your metabolism, your muscles, your joints. I mean, like literally everything. It is the powerhouse of your body. And so when my thyroid produces the hormones to keep my body essentially functioning, my immune system thinks that it's a foreign object, I guess, and attacks it like I'm sick. So that causes inflammation in my body and so many other symptoms. But yeah, we talk about it a lot because I think it's an important thing. I don't know if there is anyone in chat where they're hearing this disease for the first time. But that's definitely the main reason why I talk about it, is because to raise awareness on it. Not a lot of people know about it. And it definitely 100% like affects my mental and emotional health, like a lot. And it's very, I don't want to say ironic and I don't want to say funny, but those are the only words that I can think of right now. It is very ironic that this episode is this week, because last week was one of the worst weeks I've had in a very, very long time. So around my chronic illness, because for those who have seen on Twitter, they have found yet another chronic illness flag in my blood. So I am in the process of getting diagnosed with another chronic illness on top of my Hashimoto's disease. So last week was rough. Last week was really rough. That I was not expecting that. It was rough. It was really rough, if I can be perfectly honest. And obviously all of the trigger warnings when we talk about these things, it was really hard.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
I appreciate that very much.
Of course. Absolutely.
Do you find that, first of all, really, really thank you for being open about that and sharing your experience in general in your channel and everything.
Of course.
So, I mean, this affects your mental health. This affects what you can and can't do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. So obviously, I think the hardest part about this, I'll kind of preface kind of why this is so difficult for me, is because I used to be an athlete prior to this. I used to do bodybuilding. I used to be a runner. I actually heard you talking about running earlier. But
I need to ramp back up, but
yeah, me too. I used to be a huge athlete, and I can't really do those things anymore because it can cause more inflammation in my body, which then means I'm exhausted, I'm tired, all of the things. So I'm grieving her. I'm grieving that Ash.
Yeah.
Which I think is what makes this so difficult. And then, also to say this too, I was diagnosed with anxiety when I was in 7th grade.
Whoa.
Yeah. I've always had that. But I think the symptoms that I deal with on a daily basis, I think it definitely amps it up. And actually last year when COVID started, lockdown, all of those things, I actually had to get put back on anxiety medication just because everything felt so heightened, No, it's definitely a lot. And so I think that's what makes this process the most difficult is the grieving process of like who I used to be, if that makes any sense.
No,
And
that
I
makes
hope,
so much
okay,
sense. That makes so
okay.
much. I was diagnosed 10 years ago, and there are still times where I'm like, you know what would have been cool? The girl I could have been without
Yeah.
depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
So I can only
Yeah.
imagine what that's like when your physical being is,
Yeah.
literally pulled away from you.
Yeah. No, and oh my gosh, that is such a good metaphor that you just used there, because last week when I was like kind of just like going through everything, like I felt like, God, and not to get sappy, and I have tissues just in case,
No, I need the sap.
but
Listen, we welcome sap. It's sticky, it's
uh,
beautiful, and it's
it's a
it's
part of it.
natural. Yeah.
It's this is what living with a chronic illness is like for me. And so last week was very much like I felt, and I still feel at times, that my identity is wrapped up in this illness, because my everyday is different. I'm constantly dealing with the symptom. I'm constantly in pain. There's not really a day where I'm not in pain. And there's not really a day where I feel just bright and chipper. There's always this like underlying like tiredness, but it's like, am I just tired today, or am I super tired today? There's no like, I'm not tired today. um so it's, I last week when I got the news that I am going to be in the process of getting diagnosed with another chronic illness, I just felt like my identity and like who I am is so wrapped up in this, and like I don't want it to be anymore. I feel like all I am, all I exist as, is pain, sickness, and tiredness. That's all I feel like my existence is. And it was hard. It was hard. It was depressing as heck. So, you know, it was, like I said, I don't want to say funny or ironic, but I feel like that's appropriate for this. Like, thank God. Thank God for this and being able to talk about it, because
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? I think it's super important. But yeah, no, it's hard. It's tough.
I think there's too many places where, and I've talked about this on Twitter too, where there's like this inspiration porn where they want to hear about like how you overcame it.
Yeah.
But then there are illnesses that like you're not overcome. I'm sorry, but you're not overcoming them.
There's
You
no
are
cure,
learning
yeah.
how to live with them, right? You are
Exactly.
learning what it's like, what life is going to be like for the rest of your life,
Yes.
and how to be happy with that person.
Yes.
Even though it's not the person you thought you were going to get.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Little Ash would never have seen this coming. You know what I mean? It's it's like I said, I am grieving her. I'm grieving Ash prior to 25. You know what I mean? So it's tough, and like mental health is such a big part of this, because, and like I know we're going to kind of talk about it, but streaming,
Mhm.
it affects streaming so much, where I have a schedule, but like there's going to be a day where I'm just absolutely exhausted. I'm just completely worn out. I can't do it, so there's the schedule part of things. There's me being able to stream more than 4 to 5 hours, because my body is just so tired. I hit just like a brick wall.
I just gave up on that. I'm gonna be completely honest. I can do 4 hours, but like something has to be happening that can distract me from time completely. Like otherwise, like I start wilting like a little flower.
Oh, you feel it. You feel yourself just like starting to just like get drained. Yeah, no. So I tell my community like 2 things. I have a schedule, but I might not follow it. And 2, streams are 4 hours most days, but if you catch me streaming for longer, heck yes, let's go. But 4 hours is usually what I can do. So, okay, and listen, if I can give a little bit of streaming advice here, I don't think that, I don't think you have to stream more than 4 hours to be successful on this platform.
There's a lot of other stuff to do.
Yeah.
But
oh
stream.
my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean like the background content, if you like TikTok and all of YouTube videos, I mean.
And all of that's exhausting, by the way. It's not like when you're not streaming, you're like automatically not tired and you're refreshed. Like there's so much other crap to do.
Yes. No, seriously.
Yeah.
And I think what's important to talk about here too with mental health and streaming and stuff is there is a relevancy that you have to have when it comes to streaming. You
Oh
have
God,
to,
let's go.
yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be super relevant at like all the right times. And
Yep.
figuring that out as a streamer with a mental illness or a chronic illness, or all of those, an illness in general, um disability, is holy crap.
Yeah. No, yeah.
What? We have to do this? When? Where? Why? I don't understand. This
Yeah.
hurts,
Yeah. There's a
I don't get it.
lot of expectations for
Yes.
it's not the days of I just turned on a camera and I'm pretty decent at a game and that's what's going to get people to notice me are beyond over. I don't know when they were, but I definitely miss them.
Yeah.
And it is so there's so much that goes into streaming. There's
Yeah.
so much if you want to be relevant. And then the addition of am I not relevant now because things tide, like come and go, or am I just a piece of shit because that's what my depression is telling
Yeah.
me I am? And
Yes. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because mental health, ooh, it can definitely be, and I'm just going to be real here. It can definitely be like your worst enemy when it comes to making content and streaming just in general. It makes you believe a lot of things that just aren't true. Like, no one
mhm.
likes me, no one wants to play games with me, I'm not as cool as this person, everybody hates me, those kind of things. Like, those are things that I think all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
How do you
it
stop yourself? How do you pull yourself back?
so I full disclosure or whatever, I am in therapy. I actually started therapy last month. Wait, what is it?
Oh,
March? Yeah,
it's
so
March.
I started, oh my gosh, time is,
Yeah, oh yeah, time is completely
yeah.
irrelevant. That's why
Yeah.
that's why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you not knowing what
No.
month it is. I'm
No, I'm
laughing
like,
because I'm like I could have said April and you would have been like, "Okay,
okay,
yeah."
yeah. No, literally not even joking.
Yeah.
So I started therapy last month, and it's been great. It's been really hard. But one of the things that I've heard just like throughout my therapy sessions is, these are not facts. What? Yes.
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 Facts and feelings are not
Exactly.
the same thing. I remember hearing that the first time and my brain exploded it, but I need to hear it
Yes.
every few weeks or so
Yes.
because I like
Yes.
forget. Yeah.
Yes. So, no, I remember hearing it for the first time and I was like, "What? Why did I why did I not think of that?" So, like, everything that you are thinking and everything that you are feeling, they are not based on any true facts.
Mhm.
So if your brain is trying to tell you that this person doesn't like you or you're not good enough, on what basis is that true?
You literally have to like fact check yourself and be like,
Exactly.
give me the facts.
Exactly.
Give me the
Exactly.
facts. And why am I thinking
Exactly.
about worst case scenario? Like, because your brain will be like, I know fact that one time you replied to their tweet and they didn't like your reply.
Yeah. So
They
they hate
hate
you.
you. And you're like, okay, or they got 1,000 replies and they couldn't reply to everyone.
Yeah.
Or like there's 40,000 ways in which that is not correct, but your brain is like, I know what
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah.
Everybody hates
Oh
you.
yeah.
Got
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah. And just like, another thing that I've learned in therapy is just like checking yourself at the door. Like, how are you feeling today? What happened yesterday? Is it affecting your mood today? Because if it is, it's gonna leak into other parts of your life tomorrow. Like, it's fact checking yourself, obviously, and then checking yourself at the door. How are you feeling? What's going on in your surroundings? Obviously, there's like underlying traumas that I would always recommend that you get therapy for, to deal with these things, because really, honestly, like, in reality, a lot of the ways that you think, and this is in science, I got my psychology major in college. Um, that a lot of the things and the way that you feel and the way that you think, there's some basis to that, and it's like from your childhood, how you were raised, your friends, your family, things that were said to you that you might not remember, but it adds that base for you as you go into your adult life. And so it's just making sure you have all of those things, like, okay, yes, I know where this is coming from, just like checking yourself at the door whenever those feelings start arising. And yeah, no, your feelings and what you think about people and all, they're not facts. They're most likely 100% not true.
Yep.
So, that's the biggest thing for me is when those feelings start coming up is like, okay, where's this coming from? I know you had a bad day yesterday with your chronic illness. Could it be leaking into today? Like, how we feeling? How we feeling? And that's not fact. Who in the world has told you that this person doesn't like you? Absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just the fact thing and just checking yourself at the door
Do
is.
you also do that thing? Like I do this. So obviously my chronic illness is depression, which is very different and very
Yeah.
not pretending it's the same in any shape or form. But so I do this thing where I will be like, I don't understand. I just want to do 4,000 things today. I have this to-do list and I can't. Why am I tired? Why am I stressed? Why am I beating myself up? Why do I hate myself? I don't understand. And literally I have had my partner be like, did you know you had depression? Like, did you forget? Do you do that too? Or is the physical aspect of it such a reminder that like you can't forget it?
So I will say that definitely the physical part is like kind of a slap in the face sometimes. Like I'll be like wanting to do this like to-do list and I'm like, yes. But here's where like the depression and the anxiety kicks in with that is I think that you might be a lot this way too, because I've seen a tweet maybe, or we've talked about it
Probably.
before,
Yeah.
but you know how you want to get things done so you can get it off of your depression to-do list,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't do it because you're tired and you're depressed. So
Mm-hmm.
then you have anxiety because you can't do it and it can't get done. And so then it's just this like vicious cycle of like, anxiety slash depression or whatever. That is what really gets to me. And I do want to like talk about this. This is not like an official diagnosis or anything. It is something I am talking to my therapist about, but OCD, that is something that I have dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
It manifested last year with COVID through my anxiety. It was a coping mechanism that my brain saw and was like, ooh, this is how we can keep
Let's
things in
repeat
order.
thoughts and
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And have control. We need some control in here. So let's do OCD. This sounds great, kind of thing, whatever.
You want control? How about control times 1,000?
Yes,
Yeah.
crank it up. So, like I said, I'm talking to my therapist about this, obviously. Like, I'm not going to diagnose myself. Please don't ever think that. But so I have OCD and like, I need things to get done. So my anxiety feels in control that day. But like, I'm so tired and my bones and my muscles are aching that I can't do it. So then I'll just push myself. And then the next day I'm just exhausted.
Then you're
and like,
worse. Yeah. The pushing never turns.
no.
I mean, it does. There's rare times, and that's how it ends up being a cycle because there's rare times that the push works. Because you're like, oh, see? And then I did it. I'm good. I'm so good inspiring myself. Good job me.
Yeah.
Pat on the back. And then the next day you're like, oh no, why do I feel worse?
I'm exhausted.
Why? How did this happen? I don't understand.
Yeah. No, exactly. And so that's kind of what I work through. And so obviously therapy is huge for me right now because there are a lot of things that I am having to deal with. And then I did let my therapist know, like, hey, I'm getting diagnosed with another one.
Another one.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah.
So I think another hard part of this is I can't go see a specialist until June 4th because of COVID. I think they're still trying to catch up.
Yeah.
So I have this illness kind of hovering over my head and I don't know what it is. And so it's like a little dark cloud just like looking at me like, hey, I'm here, but you don't know what I am. So that has definitely like affected me mentally and emotionally. It's just like, what could it be? And then of course, what happens? Oh my gosh, I'm going to die.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. The tables just start the worst, And so last week was definitely like and I want to talk about this a little bit and please like help me through this, Em.
I got you.
Sometimes I feel like when you get down to those moments, the nitty gritty, the dark times, like I feel like at some moments that's where like the epiphanies happen. And like you kind of like need to be there for a second so you can realize like that you're there, you see the problem. Okay, now here's the plan for like tomorrow. Like I feel like sometimes I don't want to say it's necessary, but everything always happens for a reason. I'll just say
It's
that.
a wave. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I consider it a wave, right? Like
yeah,
when you're at the bottom, you're coming back up, but you need to
yeah,
figure out how to get yourself
yeah,
back up.
yeah.
And so that takes a second.
Yeah. So I feel like last week when I was kind of going through that, I was definitely like fighting against it. You know, my therapist is like, come on, you can do this. Like, let's talk about this. You know, like, how can we do this? And like, you know, I really had to tell myself, like, here I am, and this is what we're going to do. And like, I feel so much better going into this week because like, I had that plan, I had that mindset, I had that change of thought, you know, but I don't think I would have had that unless I would have had just like a little bit of like a downtime, you know, to figure that out. Um, but obviously everyone is different, right?
Everyone is
So,
different. The
yeah.
note that I will make is over time I have learned how to catch myself before I'm all the way down there and start thinking of solutions before I get all the way down.
Which is why I'm in therapy.
Yeah, I think I've got. I'm very grateful because I think I've gotten. Not always. There are still times where I fall all the way down before I come back up. But there are definitely times now where I start spiraling. I go, hey, okay, what do we do? What do we do when this is happening? But sometimes you still don't catch it. But I'm glad therapy is kind of, that's one of the goals for you.
Yes, yes. And I mean, to anyone who's like, I don't know, I'm going to therapy just to learn like anxiety coping mechanisms, like what happens when those snowball effect thoughts start happening, you know, how your anxiety can just like completely just like crumble you, how to deal with my chronic illness on a day-to-day basis, and just like some past like trauma and stuff. That's why I'm in therapy. And like, obviously I would recommend it to everybody. Anyone who doesn't know Jamie, she actually came onto Motivational, and she had talked about going into therapy, and I was like, holy heck, I should really think about this.
That got you.
I should really think about this because I knew there was problems. I knew there was issues. COVID really brought them forward. And I was like, okay, I think it's time, you know? So I'm really thankful for that discussion, obviously. And I'm thankful for this too, because any chance that we can talk about mental health in a safe space and not feel judged and not feel like you're different or something's wrong with you or you're dangerous or something, like, it's so important. And so I appreciate you letting me come on and talk about this stuff because
I'm sorry it wasn't sooner.
Oh my gosh, no. How could you know?
How could you
know? The timing. The timing, you know? So I just like, no, it's really, and any chance I can like kind of raise awareness on chronic illnesses and how those things kind of tie in. I want to do that too, you know? So yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, everyone. No, I like I said, I really appreciate you letting me come on and talk about it. It's super important. Super important.
It's this wild thing, and I was just talking about the fact that there is this like it's this balance, right, of like too much but not too much, and raising awareness but not bumming anybody out, but also not pretending everything is fine when it isn't. And like there's just so many fine lines, and that in itself is exhausting. And I am very grateful for people who appreciate that enough to want to come on and be part of this journey and the story, because again, it's not easy, and it's not a given. And I'm very grateful for the fact that like you're sharing. So the fact that you're sharing, I've also mentioned this recently, like the amount I learn from sitting back and shutting the hell up and listening is like, I have learned so much about suicide prevention and awareness of chronic illness. Like these are all things that I wouldn't have access to. So like information and experiences I wouldn't have access to otherwise. And this was what I was looking for when I started everything. This is what I was looking for in 2017, and I couldn't find. So the fact that like I can create that space. Anyway, I'm blowing my own horn now.
No,
but the point here is I'm very grateful for you, and I'm very grateful for you sharing your experiences, because you make everybody richer for it. And so thank you.
I appreciate that. It's I started streaming 2015, I think. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's not talk about time again.
No, time is
but
meaningless.
I think that people, I don't want to speak for people, but I think that there is a common misconception that streaming is easy,
Mhm.
streaming is always fun and that there's no hardships that come with it. And that is absolutely not true.
I don't know who started that, but I feel like it's like a lot of things where people are like, that's an easy job. And it is
Yeah.
no job. I don't know any job that's an easy job. I've got to be honest with
Yeah.
you. If I even had to sit around at like a desk and literally do nothing, and they're like, your job is to sit at this desk and do nothing,
I
I
would
feel
hate
like I
it.
would still struggle. And because I would freaking hate it. So
Yeah.
I don't know that there's many easy jobs out there, but if you literally stop and think about it for a second. Not only do you have to press live, good luck doing that, but you also have to like get people to come and watch you and then keep people entertained. What about that sounds easy?
Yeah.
It's because people think the easy part is you talking like, oh yeah, I could talk for hours. I'm just going to come on and I'm going to talk forever. But the other part is people have to come and want to talk back to you. And that's the part that like, there's so much of it that's dependent on you, but also not dependent on you. Like there's
chance, luck,
it's
all those
chance.
things. Yeah.
It's chance, luck. It's it's you doing a really good job putting yourself out there. But then at the end of the day, like if there's a big football game on, you could put yourself out there until the cows come home. But everybody's gonna go and watch that big football game or the Fortnite tournament or whatever. So
no, you're so right. You're so right. It's like I said, it's that relevancy. It's the, marketing constantly part that is like, to me, that's the biggest part. I said I graduated with my psychology major in college, but I did a ton of marketing, like working in marketing after I graduated, because that was the only job I could find, of course.
I feel this in my bones.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I did a lot of, work in marketing, and that's when social media was really on the come up and it was really brand new and really cool and stuff, and the newest thing. And so I will say like marketing is like the biggest part to me for streaming and stuff, but like, okay, there's a never ending catalog or a never ending like internet search of what you could do to market yourself. I mean, it can get very, very exhausting. And then, like I said, add a disability, add a chronic illness, add a mental illness. It's just a roller coaster.
People don't get that when you have those things, you're working twice as hard because you have to make up for what you can't.
Yes.
You can't do. Like if I just sat back and let my mental illness run its course, I like that
months, year,
could go by and I would get nothing and get nowhere. And having to you're putting in that work plus you're pushing up against your own body or brain or whatever it might be. Do you find, so you've specifically talked about this because you're one of the people who you like kind of went through a little bit. I don't want to say it's a phase because it's not a phase, but you went through some time on Twitter where you're like, all right, I'm pushing for a partner. Wait, I want it to happen naturally. Wait, but I also really want it because I feel like I've earned it because I've been working my butt off for years, but also like I didn't earn it. Like that, I definitely, as you were tweeting, I was feeling all the things you were feeling because I've been there. But and I'm still there. There are still days where like X amount of people show up and that isn't the number that would make you qualify for partner. And I sit here and I'm like, I don't deserve it. So so if you could talk to that and how you do that against all the things that you're experiencing.
So I'll be perfectly honest, like up until, and I feel like this is for a lot of people, but I feel like up until like 2019, 2019 is when I really started to like take Twitch seriously, because I've always felt in my bones that I've always wanted to like be my own boss. I've always wanted to like be my own. My other job is modeling aside from Twitch, and I get to be my own boss with that as well. So I've just always felt like very self-driven, I guess, like an entrepreneur, businesswoman, boss babe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's hard with the friggin' illness. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And I'll talk about that in a second, actually. But I've always felt like I really want to be my own boss. So in 2019, I started taking streaming like very, very seriously. And I have never like come out and actually talked about like how bad, not even like how I don't even want partner that bad, but just like, this is my end goal. Like, this is what I want. Like, this is what we all work for towards, right? Like, this is like,
the system is set up that way. You're literally, these are the steps. These are the steps. This is your next step. So start working towards it.
Exactly.
And,
yeah. So I wouldn't say that I finally like came out and like talked about that until last year, like towards the end of the year, like, hey, like this is what I really want. You know, this is not the end goal for me, but it is a big step so that not only can I grow as a creator, but our community can grow with opportunities, with fun things to do. You know, it goes like this. You know, I feel like sometimes when you get a partner, I mean, it's not always like that, but you know.
It's not. Well, that's no, but it is. So I wanted to, the reason I was so excited to have this discussion is because I have that other perspective, because I have the check mark and it's awesome. I'm not going to pretend I don't want it, or you could, if you took it away, I would be fucking devastated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know how many opportunities have come to me because I'm partnered. I'm pretty sure most of the opportunities, because a lot of opportunities have passed me by because I don't have numbers. Mm-hmm. So like if you're partnered, but you don't get the numbers that like they expect people who are partnered get, doesn't like, that's not like I'm thinking about, again, sponsorship with BetterHelp.
Yeah.
That did not come because I was a partnered Twitch streamer. I don't even think that was on my application. I think it came because I was like, I'm a mental health advocate. This is what I do, you know, 3 days a week. Come and watch me do that. And then if you dig that, maybe come and sponsor me.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I get the whole like, I want that check mark because it is a goal. It is a freaking goal. They set it for you. They're like, here are the steps you have to do.
Yes.
And if you're in the Twitch universe, this is another one you want to get.
Yeah.
You want to get that. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I'm here and I got that goal and it changed nothing. Like it changed everything for how validated I feel.
Yeah.
And it changed nothing for how many more opportunities or whatever my community got.
Yeah.
So so that's my spiel about it.
Yeah, no, and like I completely and honestly like love that and respect that because it's true. But like I said, your brain likes to do these things where it's like, this is it. Like this is what you got to do. This is the thing.
That's
this
why
is
it's set
how
up
you're
that
going to
way.
be successful.
Yep.
Exactly. So, you know, like I said, I didn't really start talking about it or anything until like, I don't know, like 4 months ago, I guess. Like not even, I don't know. I just like, here's the thing. And I'll talk about this too. This November will be 6 years of me streaming. And last year, when I celebrated 5 years of streaming, I didn't want to because I didn't have a check mark. And
that validation you get.
That felt so sad for me to realize like that was my thought process. And so it wasn't that I started pushing for it and talking about it because hey, like I'm sad and I want to talk about this. It was just like, hey, y'all, like this is what I'm thinking. And like, this is how long I've been streaming. And like, why don't we just try this? It wasn't like, if I don't have this, I'm literally going to freak out and I'm going to quit streaming. It was just like, hey, you know what? I've been doing this for so long and it would feel really cool to have this. So why don't I just be open about it and say, hey, this would be cool. I want this, you know? But then I stopped talking about it because I'll say two things. One, some people were like, hey, I think you're a little bit too focused on this now. Like it's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward for us. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. And then two, I was just like, it's so hard to like focus on that, you know, when I have so many other things that I need to do, like, why am I just focusing on this one thing? So I stopped talking about it. And then I talked with Jude, Mermaid Queen Jude. And they were like, you should always like want to be open about this and I can be honest about this, but let's not make it like so much of a focus. Like, let's just have it kind of running in the background. Everyone knows it's there, cool, whatever. We're just going to keep doing our thing. Like that's kind of how things started happening this time around. But is everything okay? You froze up for a second. Okay.
You froze up for a second, so I got really nervous. Yeah.
Okay.
But you're back. You came back.
Okay.
But that's why I'm checking. If you see me, I'm like checking everything, the bit rate and everything to make sure that we're back. But I think we're back.
I think my internet dropped for like 2 seconds. Maybe that's what happened.
I can't. And then it told me my internet dropped for 2 seconds. So maybe.
Who knows?
Ghosts. Okay, go on.
No. So this time around, it's like, hey, it's here. Like, this is how I feel about it. These are my feelings, but like, it's not the main focus of the channel. Like, hey, if you want to support me, if you want to retweet me, if you want to do this, like, let's do it. But just like with everything else in life, there is a balance to it. And so, make sure that I need to make sure that my health comes first. Absolutely,
It has
100%.
to.
There is not an option. There is not an option. And that first time when I was being open about it, and, I got some comments like, hey, I think you're focusing on this too much. I was not putting my health first. I was like straight to burnout, straight there, like no stopping. Let's go wear myself out completely till, thin. So, this time around, I feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm not gonna, we'll see, but there's a balance with it, and I told myself, you absolutely have no choice. You are putting your health first. Streaming is always going to be there, and it can wait. And yeah,
It's
so
so wild to me because we do this with a lot of goals in general, right? Like the goal is first.
yeah,
But you literally cannot do anything unless you're of healthy body and mind, right?
yeah,
But that is not what we put first. We don't go, I want to get Twitch partners. So I'm going to eat good fruits and veggies and go for a run. That's not what happens. We go, I'm going to get Twitch partner. I'm going to be on TikTok all day posting 14 videos.
yeah. And I'm going to sit in this computer chair for 12 hours a day and
Yeah.
be in front of a camera and bright lights and, not get up and stretch and do
Right.
stretch breaks and stuff,
Right.
because yeah, that sounds great.
But that's not gonna lead. But it's what is gonna lead you to that is if you're feeling good, you're going to have a better attitude. If you have a better
Yeah.
attitude, more people want to watch. If more people want to
Yeah.
watch, you get more viewers. If more viewers, you get partner. Those
Yeah.
are the steps.
Yeah.
They're not just I'm just gonna do a lot.
Yeah.
And then that will get me where I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
it
it's-
feels like the latter.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so if you take a look at, the steps that you take to get to partner, whatever they put on your analytic sheet, there's no, hey, get up and stretch every 2 hours while you're streaming.
Right.
Hey,
right.
like, did you sleep 8 hours last night? Like there's none of those,
Mm-mm.
and like, it's also tough because if you are a goal-oriented person like me, like I'm
It
very
works.
like,
Mhm.
it works and you push yourself. And so this time around, I realized what I did wrong the first time I tried to do this. And like I said, I came out, I said, hey, like I really want this. This year will be 6 years that I've been streaming, but like, hey, let's make it a fun thing. I would love to get it before I turn 30, blah, 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 blah. But like, whatever, it is what it is. It's not going to change anything. Like I am still going to be a mental health advocate. I'm still going to talk about my chronic illnesses where, I'm still going to talk about LGBTQ plus rights, human rights and, all of these things. I'm still going to do that, and so I think communication was huge this time around. And like, I told my community like, hey, it is what it is. If I have to miss a stream, it is what it is. I'm sick of fighting myself. I'm sick of feeling bad. And like, it was so funny because all of my tweets ended with, hey, I have to take today off. I am so sorry. Now, instead, I'm trying to like go into saying, hey, I have to take a day off because my health needs it. And that's just, see you tomorrow.
It'd be like that. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah. So I think it's just like that 180 of like that mindset and like, we're gonna put my health first when it comes to this, and like I feel better. Like honestly, like yes, I'm still dealing with background stuff, but like I feel better going into streaming because it's a lot less pressure. It's not in the forefront for me anymore. It's like a sizzle in the background. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, that makes a ton of sense. And Bailey's making a really good point too, because I think a lot of people think once I get to partner 2, I can chill after that. But that's not what happens, right?
No.
Like that's not, it is literally just, it's a milestone. That's like saying once I graduate high school, I can chill and do nothing. Like, no. Now your butt's got to get to work and like get a car and pay for insurance and
you got to pay bills.
It's very much the same, except now there's a check mark next to your name. So there's different kind of judgment when people come by your channel and they're like, oh, you only have 60 viewers today?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have that check mark.
Yeah. And like, first of all, I'm not all about that. Like, get your judgment crap out of here.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, as a person who is very goal oriented and very like driven, like just in general, I feel like for my health sake and me personally, this is the healthy way that I'm going about it. I do want to disclose that and talk about that because this thing that I'm doing is not going to work for everybody. Like,
Yep. Yes.
you know
Thank
what I
you.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like even like I said, I'm very goal oriented. I have to see it. I have to know it. It has to be there somewhere. So I feel a little bit of like a fire under my booty cheeks, right? But that's not going to work for everybody. That might make it worse, you know? So I do want to say, like, for me personally, like, this is what feels better. Stepping back, letting it be a sizzle, but still continuing to do what I need to do and putting my health first. That is most important, especially going into a season of having two chronic illnesses. Like, I do not have a choice. My body is basically like, you need to rest. And if you
Yeah.
don't, I will fight you.
Yeah.
And quite
I will
literally, I'm
win.
slowly killing you. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I will win.
So, yeah.
So yeah.
And it wins every freaking time. And I think that's also a part of like the grieving process is like,
Yeah.
I can't cater. I can only cater to my body and like my illness so much. And it's still like, yeah, but I still win. You know, I'm still the winner. And like, I was telling my parents, I was like, I just want to, if my body had like a face, I just
Just
want to yell at it and just be like, body, why do you do this to me? Why do you forsake me? Because, you know, like I consider myself like a healthy person, you know, I'm a vegetarian, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. My
no.
body decided like,
Yeah.
hey, this is it is what it is, you know, and genetics, environmental things, all those things, you know.
I'll even top that. It's twice as hard there as well because if you like if a healthy person doesn't eat an apple a day, for example, super random, right? But like if a healthy person doesn't eat an apple a day, you know, whatever. They need to get their fiber in, but like that day, maybe they won't have a good poop. Like that's the consequence.
Yeah.
If a person with chronic illness doesn't eat their apple a day, take a walk, take their vitamins, take their medication, you know, do all of the things that other people just like kind of take for granted, I literally won't make it. Like I will become a potato. I will like not be able to survive. I will just be, and this is not, of course, this is not in any way against people who are not able to do that.
Yeah, no.
There's a point of every chronic illness where you just, that's it. Your body's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And that's not up to you. That's not, I'm not in any way saying try harder.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you have the ability and your body is saying, all right, but like my baseline to be able to have the ability to function is I need to be 100% on top of how healthy I am. Like literally I was, you know, you heard me talking about running 240 heartbeat. That's not normal. That's not normal. But my body, I started running and it went into like, oh, we're having a panic attack?
Yeah.
Oh, I know this. We have a panic attack. Let me bump your heart rate up. That'll be good for you. And then I couldn't breathe because I have asthma. And then like, but like, be healthy. Go for a run. But that's the consequence of me not running for like a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
So I talked a bunch again. Sorry, go ahead.
Do not apologize. I'm Hispanic. I'm Latina. We could out talk each other, I'm sure. Don't even worry about it. No, but no, that is a thing that I've got my whole life. Oh, you sure do talk a lot. Anyway, so
you sure can go suck a bag of dicks.
I mean, seriously, come on. I'm sorry that I'm interesting and I know how to, you know, run a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, no. But someone made a good point in chat. Blushing Crafter said, you know, your win some days could be just getting out of bed, just drinking water, taking your meds, you know.
Yes.
Definitely, absolutely, 100%. I celebrate the small victories. It is super important to do that anyways, to do that regardless, especially at the time and age that we're living in when there's so many things happening around us and like it's hard as it is. But like definitely with like a chronic illness, like there are some days where my muscles and my bones and my legs hurt so bad that I can barely get out of bed. And so if I'm able to, and I'm able to make myself a good breakfast or something, I am clapping for myself extra hard,
Hell
you know,
yeah.
because I mean, that was tough for me. Right. So I think it's a good point to definitely insert here that definitely celebrate the small victories because they all matter. They all add up. and they can definitely 100% change your day. And I know we're kind of going to talk about this and like things that you can do to like help yourself, I guess, and like some of the
You can skip ahead. Go for
no,
it.
some of the remedies that we can do to like help with like these kind of things. Um so what I was going to say was I went through like a really dark period of time after I graduated college because I couldn't find a job. I had to move back home. I was missing my friends. I was missing college. I was like a lot of change was happening in my life, and I've realized that usually my depressive episodes kick up when a bunch of change happens all at once. Which I mean chemical imbalance, right? So um I had graduated college and I was just like really, really down. And the one thing that I told myself was, I want you to think about at least one good thing that has happened during your day. And like eventually, like it got to the point where I was like, okay, I woke up today. That was the only thing I could write down. And then like as the days went on and I started focusing on those little gratefulnesses is what I call them. You know, the list got longer and longer. And so I have really since then tried to do that every day and write down things that I'm grateful for, even if it's like my favorite fall candle. Like I have pumpkin candles burning all year long
Hell
here.
yeah.
They're the best. Or, you know, oh, the way that my sun like shined through the window this morning. I don't have a kid, but like the way the sun shined through my window this morning, you know, like, oh, that was so beautiful. Like those little gratefulnesses, like really keep me focused on like the good things. And like there are so I'm the small things in life are the best things in life kind of gal. And so the grateful journal has like really helped me get out of moments like that, you know, and like start focusing on something else. So that's one remedy that I try to focus on when I am feeling down, especially with my chronic illness, is those small victories, the small gratefulnesses, you know. So just to kind of go off of what
No, I love
Blush and
that.
Crafter. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, the you know, reminding yourself a few there, and there are literally gratitude journals that have prompts
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you that will
That's what
help
it's
you with
called.
this a little bit. Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Yeah. Clearly I just made up something, but
You did not at all because it literally exists, so you're good.
But yeah, no, just things like that, just like remembering like the small things in life, you know, those are the best things to me. I don't know, like, oh my gosh, my cup of coffee was bomb this morning. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
just those little small things. You just have to hold on to just whatever you can. And you know, I've noticed that that really works for me in those depressive episodes. And like, you know, especially when my anxiety is super high, like just like grounding yourself, you know, getting yourself back in that moment. What can you taste? What can you smell? You know, what can you see that's to your left? What can you see that's to your right? You know, those grounding methods and stuff like that. Just really shit. I'll even take my shoes off and be barefoot and go stand in the grass and just like stand there and just like be one with like where I am right then, with the grass, with
Yeah.
the clouds, with
Yeah.
the air, you know, let nature give me a hug with the wind, you know. So just like things like that. I don't know. Mm, I'm I kind of sound like a little hippie or something, but I mean, you know,
No,
I love it.
first of all, I'm a yoga instructor, so
Oh
we're
yes,
on the same
yes.
line. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. We're all set. But
Yeah.
also, what I was going to say is that like as you describe those things, like I recognize my brain goes, that's a weird thing to do, and there is a moment where I will go do that. I will stand outside and feel the rain on my hands or whatever it might be, and I'm
Yes.
like, this is a weird thing to do. If my neighbors see me right now, they're probably
Right.
like, is she okay? And the reality is, I'm not okay. I'm trying to be okay. So let me
Yeah.
stand here, and if it looks weird to you, like, do not. Do
Don't
not.
say anything.
I don't.
Don't say anything.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like a sensory thing for me, I guess. I don't know, but like it's just realizing where you are. Like there's so many things going on around you all the time, especially with social media being such a big thing. You know, like take a moment to like just put your phone down and go put your feet in the grass and like just be one with the earth, you know, and just be like, I'm in this moment. Here I am. I'm okay. You know,
And it's different for different people. Like for me,
absolutely.
that's taking a cup of coffee and standing outside the window and
Yes.
just like looking.
I love that.
I
love that.
It's a cup of tea for me, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's taking that cup and mindfully being like, I am going to take however long it takes for me to drink this cup.
Mhm.
And in this time, all I'm going to do is focus on drinking this cup and looking at what's around me. So
Yes.
figure out what that is for you. For some people, that's
Yes.
reading. For some people, and like that is Do not let anybody also tell you. You can tell them a certified yoga instructor told you that is a kind of meditation.
It is.
You can, if you do that once a day, you meditate. You're meditating. So don't let anybody also tell you, because some people will be like, I can't meditate, but I do this thing. I'm like, that's meditating. You're meditating.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
And
Rant.
like, no, meditation is like huge for me. It's like, and listen, the hardest part, and I think the hardest part for everybody and why they say I can't meditate is because like you can't quiet your brain, and that's okay.
You're
Like,
not supposed to. When I tell that to people, they're like, what? I'm like, the point, you cannot. You're trying to get your brain to empty. You can't snap your fingers and get your brain to empty. That's not how it works.
Exactly. It's just being quiet. It's literally just like being quiet and just like sitting there and just allowing things to just like bleh, word vomit, but it's your brain vomiting everywhere. You know, like, so meditation is like huge for me too. Smell, like I have to have like a good smell around me at all times. You know, it's just like, it's like little things like that that you start to learn what comforts you. And so I always recommend that to people who are going through a hard time. Like, okay, well, what comforts you? Like, what feels nice? What feels good? You know, for some people that's sex. For some people that is reading a book. You know, for some people that's going for a walk. You know, like, do those things in respect to your boundaries and in respect to your body and your mind, but do them because it will make you feel better. You know,
I love that. I love that. And to add to that metaphor, so the way I look at it is like, when my dog was a puppy, he used to bite, right? Just anything. They bite hands, whatever. And so what we did, the vet taught us, literally as he's biting, take your hand out and shove a toy in there. And anytime he does that, have a toy on hand that you can just shove into his mouth. And what does he do now? When he feels like he wants to bite, he runs and gets a toy and then comes back and plays. There's a broccoli on the ground right there.
I see it.
Yeah. So but that's the same thing for your brain. You can train yourself to be like, oh, I'm about to have a sad. Where is my broccoli? Where is, and that's, you know, and that's when you go, okay, let me try lighting a candle. That's not working. Let me try reading. That's not working. Let me try grounding. That's not working. But you need to know what all of those things are for you. So you can go through your list. And by the way, I'm not trying to, that's exhausting. That is freaking exhausting to do when you're literally fighting your brain and your brain's like, hey, go do these things. Try out all these. I'm like, can I just function?
No.
Like, I just want to live.
No. Can I tell you that I literally probably lit like one candle last week? Yeah. Like, I mean, come on, you know, like you have to, I think those moments of just like, okay, just doing it, you know, like it's okay. Like you're allowed to have a bad day. You're allowed to do absolutely nothing. Point. Like, you know, you're allowed to have those moments too. But yeah, no, I feel like if you have a little bit more of that control, those are definitely super awesome things, you know, but if you don't, and you want to lay in bed all day, do that too. You know, respect your boundaries and respect your body, but like also respect yourself enough to know that you don't want to stay like this forever, which is why like I'm in therapy. I don't want to be like this forever. I want to learn coping mechanisms. I want to be better for myself because I deserve it. I deserve to be better for myself. So remember that you all deserve it. You all deserve to live a life of harmony, of peace, and of love. And sometimes the best person to give that to you is you. So you owe that to yourself. You deserve that life. And so, you know, that's what I keep telling myself is like, you deserve this. Like, you know, and for people who like can't afford it, I'm going through, it's like BetterHelp. And, you know, because I have a chronic illness, it's hard to go into an office, you know, so, you know, and they have like payment plans and stuff like that. So I know this stuff is hard, but even having a space like this where you can come and feel safe to just talk about things and learn about things and know that these things are real, that they exist, that I'm not, that, you know, M isn't going to shove, hey, maybe just eat some ice cream and you'll feel better. Like, we're not going to do that to you. You know what I mean? Right. So we're not going to shove fake positivity down your throat. Like, these things are real and they exist, you know, but also how can we talk about it in a positive light to get out of that, you know? So the balance, there it is again, you know? So anyways, yeah, I think you got to be in love with yourself, you know, like, and that's like kind of for everything and anything in life is just like being in love with yourself and respecting yourself and knowing that you deserve greatness and peace, you know. That's a big thing that I've learned since my diagnosis is like, you're going to be okay, you know, like don't make it your identity first, which is what I'm working on. Obviously, I told you last week was really hard because I do feel like every single day that is my identity. I'm a tired gal, I'm a nap gal, you know, like I feel like that's my existence, that's my identity, but I'm working through that. So yeah.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Let everybody know where they can find you. Let's go.
Again, my name is Ashlina, and you spell that Ashlina. You can call me Ash, you can call me Ashlina. I prefer to be called those things, not Ashley, because like
that's not the name.
No, that's when I'm in trouble and I don't like it. So yeah, Ash or Ashlina. You can find me. All of my links are the same. So like Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all of those things, Ashlina with the 2 A's at the end. I also have a TikTok. I don't know if you're like interested in those things, whatever. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I post. No, I just post whenever. So enjoy.
No. Sometimes I open the app and I'm like, hey, I should post a TikTok. I think I can come up with one now.
And then no, you just get
and then you don't
scrolling. Yeah, and then you don't. Same. Literally same. And again, I consider myself a variety streamer on Twitch. I do a lot of things. We really, like, honestly, I can't just do one thing. Like, I have to be doing a bunch of different things. But just know when you come to my channel, it's going to be cozy. It's going to be chaotic. We're going to talk about the real issues with life. You know, and I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm also going to be, I'm a nice person too. I'll say it, you know. But I also have a podcast / segment, I guess. I guess talk show.
It's a talk. You could call it potato. Yeah, it's a potato is a potato. You can call it a talk show.
What is okay? So we just talk about literally anything and everything. You know, I had a body positivity episode recently. I had a chronic illness episode. I just announced today that that nerd Violet will be coming onto the show, and we will be talking about what it feels like for her to be a caretaker to her father as well as a full-time streamer. So just things like that, an array of things. But at the end of the day, I want to motivate you to live a better life. And I used to do them on Mondays, and my phrase used to be, I want to make you love Mondays again. But yeah, no, I just want to motivate you to live a better life. But that's about it. I think you all got to know me a little bit more through this. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Come hang out, come chat with us. Em is great. Like I said, we've been trying to do this for a very long time.
We made it happen, baby. That's all that matters. Exactly. That's all that matters. And I think I'm scheduled for your show, so there's more of this to come.
Yes, there is more. So get ready. And because I just need to say this, our lights in our background kind of match. That's it.
Wait, they do. This whole time I did not notice that. Oh my gosh, that's cool. Thank you for pointing that out.
I had to. I did this for you. But yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. I really do. Thank you for letting me like open up too, because I've talked about it just a little bit, but like I haven't talked about it. Obviously with my therapist, like that's happening tomorrow. I have an appointment, but like this is the reality. This is something that I'm facing right now, you know? And so, yeah, I just really appreciate it. I really do.
I appreciate you. This is so lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, please follow all the links. Also, you know, obviously be sure to check out all the Mxiety stuff that you see. We will be right back right meow after these messages from our sponsors. Bye.
Fancy. Oh my God.
Much for sticking around. Thanks to viewers like you, we are now sponsored by BetterHelp. What is BetterHelp? It is the world's largest online counseling platform, and you can get 20% off if you use my link either in chat or checking out all of the links and stuff below my screen right now. I hope that you'll consider checking it out. It is a wonderful, wonderful platform. With just a few clicks, you can get to the resources that you need. I always talk about the fact that everybody should have a ton of mental health resources at their disposal. Well, this is another one. Of course, it is not for everyone. If you are not feeling so good that you feel like you are going to harm yourself, it's definitely not the best place to go in that kind of emergency. But otherwise, if you're considering talking to a therapist, if you've never had therapy before, if you're ready to open up, it might be a great place to start. With just a few clicks, they partner you up with a counselor, and if that counselor doesn't work, you can always try another one. You can just let them know, and they will do everything they can to make sure that you have an awesome experience. So I really, really hope that this helps, and thank you so much for sticking around. Back to the show.